Alright, so taking a look at a couple of incidents here at Spa, kind of showing people what not to do. Um, Start of the race, got a couple of pretty pretty good incident here. So we come into turn one and we are 4 wide. You've got car 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming into the corner, this should be the first thing you notice that there's a line of cars going across here, and you're not really going to make it through turn one 4 wide at your normal speed. Let's just put it that way. So approaching the corner, the ideal thing to do is when you see this, you're just going to want to brake earlier. Try to find a gap. I'm probably looking over to the right side here, as I know Russ, he's the farthest ahead. So going to the right is going to give you a little bit more room on braking. As you can see here, he doesn't really do that. He stays pretty much straight looking for this gap, but that's going to close. Runs right into the back of Richard, into the back of that guy. And then there's a bunch of follow-up incidents behind. So again, right off the bat, just awareness. You got to look at it and say, okay, there's 4 wide. Maybe you don't see this outer guy if you have a smaller field of view, but you should certainly see the 3, and even at 3 wide, you know that you're going to have to brake sooner than normal. So it runs into him, and then we go back, farther back the field. Let's see, where is it here? So these two guys here, they see the accident, see the car spin, and they're both trying to squeeze through here, and they get tangled. The ideal scenario there is they're lucky they got out of there with no real damage. The ideal scenario here, when you see this, if you're one of these cars farther back, you'll have the warning by now that there's a slow car ahead. Gets slowed down, and he tries to squeeze through in the middle of 2 other cars. There's just not room. You've got a car off ahead, 2 cars squeezing here, another car right in front of him. It's an 18-lap race at Spa, so, the ideal thing to do here would be to slow down and try to wait for a better opportunity instead of trying to squeeze through. This causes a lot of incidents on track where people see a crash and they see it as an opportunity to gain a bunch of spots. And usually that just results in a bunch of people getting taken out. If you see an accident and you think like, oh, I'm just going to blaze through there. It's not really a good way to pick up positions. So let's see what happens to Mark here. So, Eau Rouge lap one. We're both coming down into Eau Rouge together. I'm slightly ahead, so he appears to let me go here. As I swoop across, he just gets a little offline, and when he corrects, that's it. This happened to me yesterday. Actually, I got too wide with somebody into Eau Rouge, and I was offline running up the hill, cold tires. The best thing to do here, if you're him, is to yield slightly sooner and try to take the correct line. I think he's kind of giving me room and kind of offline at the same time. So when he turns, he ends up making a much tighter turn than he should have, and that's what caused his incident. Had he yielded a little sooner, once he realized, right about here, he realizes I'm kind of in front, you start to drift over to the right and just slot in behind me. He could have just drafted right by at the end of the Kemmel Straight there. But trying to go too wide early on cold tires, this usually ends badly. David here got taken out in that first lap, first corner incident. All right, so here's me, same guy from the first lap that ran into Richard. Just very late on the brakes, runs straight into the back of me. And again, he's sort of going inside a little bit here. Like he's going to go down the inside, but then he aims back out towards me, steering a little bit left here instead of to the right. If you're going to take this inside, if you look how much farther over on the track he is than me, he's full car width or more over. If you're going to do that, the best thing to do is to aim down the inside so that when I get on the brakes, he has room. He aims, he's pointed down here, and then as I get on the brakes, he aims out towards me again. I wasn't sure if he was going to dive down the inside, so I left room on the inside there, not expecting him to come right up behind me. Now at this point, I'm sitting still hoping that everybody gets around me, that they'll see that there's a slow car ahead. So I don't move. I don't know how damaged I am at this point. I don't want to back up because I know there's more cars incoming. And then one of the cars just doesn't slow, I think, at all. So from this guy's perspective, his race probably gets hammered right here. He should have had, prior to this, a car stopped or slow car on the right or whatever message. And he just takes the normal speed, normal tight entry through the corner. I maybe should have towed there, but I thought maybe I could still get going. And, I guess the ideal thing there for me to do would be to tow and just completely trash my race to make sure nobody hits me. The next best thing is to stay put, which I did. But that was totally avoidable. If you know there's a car off ahead, try to avoid that line. Anyways, that's a look at a couple of incidents just to show kind of what to look for, how to avoid some of the obvious crashes that we see every week. That one there is just off throttle oversteer. That one following too close. Totally avoidable. Yeah, here's the incident I was looking for. So this guy's running 15 seconds lap off the pace. Sees Julian coming up behind and rather late moves over to the left. Doesn't look like it there, but when you watch this from Julian's pace,
Try to be a bit more predictable in the braking zone, Jesse. You moved across right at the last minute and I almost hit you.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, I gave you the line. Just stop bitching.
You gave me the line about 10 meters before the corner, like 2/3 into the braking zone.
Shut the fuck up.
Predictable.
Shut up.